Hello, everybody. It is me again. Today we are doing a cast. It's just a friendly game between two very amazing players. EXE here in the top right, the yellow Corps Commander going Vehicle Plant first. And in the bottom left, we have Race, the blue Corps Commander, also going Vehicle first. As I said, this is just a friendly game. This is not a tournament game, but this replay was submitted to me by EXE himself, and I don't know who wins. In fact, I don't know much about it at all. I just know that if EXE sent me this replay, it must be an epic game, and so I'm sure we are all very excited to see what happens, to see how this plays out. This map, Corruption, I have not casted before. It wasn't in the Escalation tournament. So, yeah, I don't know much about it. Race going a very economic start here. He's only built construction vehicles. And now this Jeffy attempting to take him out. He's doing a really good job nano blocking here with some pulverizers though, and it looks like he will eventually chase off this weasel. So very greedy start by Race, and yeah, it does look like EXE trying to punish him for it here, taking out some wind generators. He's going to get a couple. Not too bad there. But overall, yeah, Race going straight into two construction vehicles. And EXE also having, three construction vehicles for him. So EXE a little bit ahead at the start, but at this point in the game, it's too early to say whether or not either player has much of an advantage. It could still go either way. Now this map, Corruption, as I said, it wasn't in the tournament. It does have kind of a metal-rich center, a little bit like Artificial Hills, but nowhere near as extreme as that map, where holding the center was it gave the player quite a massive economic boost. In this map, it doesn't seem to be too much like that. It does have some metal. Certainly the player holding it will get an advantage, if for no other reason than just positionality. Holding the mid allows you to prevent your opponent from getting through to your side by traditional means, and it will allow you to more easily control the map. So we'll have to see how the players attempt to take the mid, or if it just becomes a no man's land that both players decide to essentially leave alone, and but also prevent their opponent from taking. Here at the beginning, though, a very traditional start. Both players going core. And both players just building a combination of weasels and gators. And these will allow the players to get some harassment done if they can. Let's go ahead and look at the bases here. I think both players probably on two vehicle plants. No, EXE on one vehicle plant. And he has gone air second. As I've said in previous casts, EXE does love his air. He does tend to favor going air early, sometimes second, as in this game, sometimes first. He can start aircraft plant. When you get to this level of play, nothing is really out of the question. And Race running up the right side here with some gators. And it does look like these levelers will do a good job of cleaning those up. But he does manage to take out construction vehicles, so great job there. And then here at the bottom of the map, a little more harassment going on from EXE's side this time. But overall, each player not getting too much done at the start. A little bit of harassment. Race taking out a construction vehicle was pretty big there. And we're still waiting on EXE to use these bombers. He is now advancing to T2 vehicles. So, yeah. Race still on 2 vehicle plants only. A little surprising there that he hasn't done anything else. And here come those bombers. Let's slow it down. It is always fun to watch EXE use thunders or shadows. Here we go. Looks like he gets 1 mix, 2. Ooh, it doesn't look like Race has any air defense at all over here. So these bombers may just be able to drop their payloads with absolute impunity for now. Until Race starts to build some more defense. He does have a couple of pulverizers here on the east side of his base, and those will eventually clean everything up. So overall, EXE getting probably about 5 or 6 metal extractors. Not a huge blow, but certainly it's a significant bombing campaign there. I'd say it was pretty well done. But overall, both players should still be about even. Yes, they do look to be about completely even on metal. 45 metal apiece. Race attempting to drive up the left side of the map here again. But it does look like he will probably be thwarted, at least for now, by these this little contingent of light laser towers. He has, however, regrouped, and he's going to push in with a small force of levelers and gators. And this will be more than enough, I think, to handle these defenses. Very well done by Race, and now he is going to run into these pulverizers. He should be able to clean those up as well and get some economic harassment done. In the meantime, he is on the right side, also trying to get some harassment done. He'll probably take out this... No, he doesn't quite get the construction vehicle. EXE has reached T2 first. Nothing out of the ordinary there. We kind of mentioned it earlier. And these manticores will absolutely chew through most T1 units because they can outrange them and frankly out-DPS them at quite an impressive distance. And I would say these slashers are in trouble because manticores are just kind of an objectively better slasher. They're just kind of better in every way. Obviously they cost a lot more, but if you can meet your opponent on equal numbers, manticores are just going to absolutely chew through slashers and instigators in large numbers. So I would say Race needs to probably upgrade here. He is upgraded. He's building his own manticores. So both players now on very even footing. Let's see, both players on one vehicle plant, one advanced vehicle plant, and an aircraft factory, aircraft plant. Race coming up the left side to do his own bombing campaign. He does take out 1 pulverizer there, 2 takes out all the pulverizers on that side, but there will be plenty more to stop that and some manticores to boot. So yeah, Race not getting too much done with that bombing run, really just taking out a few inexpensive defensive structures, and overall the players are still in a pretty even position, I would say. Just looking here at the mega map. Got some manticores of EXE still pushing down. These Manticores can outrange those light laser towers, but only if they have vision. Manticores have a much longer firing range than they can actually see, so you need some kind of scouts to take full advantage of their long-range attacks. Here at the bottom right, we do have Manticores versus Manticores. And here in the coming down the middle, EXE bringing down even more. As I said before, these Manticores fire missiles. They are technically called the hybrid battle tank, so they are pretty decent against both air and land. They're actually even better against air than they are land. So, yeah, these can't really be dealt with too easily with air. They're just not, they just kind of eat through most aircraft that will attempt to take them out. So, Race will have to decide how he's going to deal with these. Reapers are a good counter, though. Reapers, quite a bit more powerful than Manticores. Once they get into range, they have more health. They do more damage, and they're just pretty strong against Manticores in general, I would say. So great counter that great counter for Race to build these Reapers. I do expect soon to start seeing some Goliaths on the field. Goliaths, of course, very expensive, and as I say that, EXE already sending them down, but as I said, they are very expensive. But holy moly, are they massive, tanky, DPS, pushing. Oh my gosh, it just feels like nearly invulnerable threats. I just have to say that Goliaths are monsters, and if you can get them in mass, it becomes very difficult for your opponent to deal with them, just because they are very strong in essentially every category. They have tons of health, they do a ton of damage and an AoE, they have a decent range, they fire very quickly, and I guess the only thing about them is they're very expensive and they're a little slow, but if you can get them in range of your opponent's base, they will absolutely demolish anything and everything in the way. So, yeah, EXE building Goliath first. We'll have to see if he can build a critical mass. Additionally, he is now on advanced aircraft plant, so he will be the first player to get to T2 air. As I said before, Manticores can take care of air pretty well, but Race is now transitioned off of Manticores. He's not building any at all. He's gone complete Reaper. And so that opens up a window of opportunity for EXE to use his T2 air to kind of harass, bomb, and otherwise make his opponent's day a living hell. I think rapiers would be pretty good in this situation, simply because it would allow... The players are talking here. It's a little distracting, but yeah, if EXE were to build rapiers, it would allow him to take out these Reapers with absolute impunity. There is no air defense at all in this army, but EXE may not even need the rapiers to do this. These Goliaths, as I said, are very strong and actually quite a good counter to Reapers as well. In the meantime, EXE coming down the left side with a small raiding force of Wraiths. I believe Wraiths have a cloaked ability. They are specifically designed for this kind of raiding situation, but running into Race's Goliaths should put an abrupt stop to this particular raiding attempt. So great job by Race there to protect his left flank. And in the meantime, this battle here between Goliaths and Reapers does continue to persist, but yeah, those Goliaths going to eat those Reapers for breakfast, and it does look as though EXE is using his T2 aircraft plant to build Hurricanes. Hurricanes are the core T2 bomber, so he looks to be less interested in using his Air Force on the battles here between Goliaths, and more interested in probably doing a bombing campaign into the heart of his opponent's base. Let's see, what are some good targets? Advanced K-Bot Lab's a good target. Advanced Vehicle Plant's a good target. These Moho extractors, Commander even, if you can get it. Geos are good targets. Plenty of juicy targets for EXE to choose from if he does decide to bring his Hurricanes into Race's base, which he almost undoubtedly will. The question is when. I don't even know where these Hurricanes are. It does look to have hidden them pretty well. Here at the southeast corner of the map, we have a battle of mostly Goliaths, but Race does have some Dominators of his own. He is, as we pointed out earlier, on Advanced K-Bot Lab, and these Dominators are pretty good against Goliaths if they can keep them at a range and pelt them with their very powerful direct fire missiles. In the meantime, coming down the west side of the map, EXE has another strike force of Goliaths, and they should be able to get something done here. They're at least taking out the defenses. Probably take out a Moho or two. And again, where are those bombers? Ah, here they are. So yeah, here are the bombers, the Hurricanes that EXE has been massing for the past several minutes. And he's also working on this Ultra Vehicle Plant, so he probably will be the first to T3. And as I say that, Race bringing along his own Rapiers. I mentioned this earlier, Rapiers very, very good against undefended forces of Reapers and Goliaths, and so Race will easily clean these up with Rapiers. I've mentioned in previous casts, having air control in TA Escalation is so vitally important. And okay, here we go. Here comes that bombing run that I've been equivocating about for the past 5-10 minutes or so, and we'll have to see what he can do with it. He does take out some Moho metal makers. He's going to take out some windmills here, but that's not really too important anymore. Take out this Geo. And looks like he's trying to get perhaps this advanced construction vehicle. So overall, not a super effective bombing run. He does take out a few things. He takes out a Geo and maybe a couple construction bots and some wind generators. But overall, I'm sure he wanted to get more done with that massive investment into Hurricanes. These are Hurricanes are not cheap. So great job there by Race to defend that. Race brings his Rapiers forward to harass these Goliaths, but EXE already prepared with a Copperhead. The Copperhead is the T2 mobile vehicle flak defense. Boy, that was a mouthful. It is it's a mobile flak gun. Flaks in TA Escalation chew through gunships like there's no tomorrow. They are a very, very effective ground-based counter to any type of air, but especially gunships. They have a large AoE in which they will continually pump out, quite frankly, insane DPS, which will just melt those armies of Rapiers like nobody's business. So, yeah, Race going to be hard-pressed at this point to continue his harassment of the EXE's armies with Rapiers. He might have to take those Rapiers to a different part of the map, but it does look like EXE has built quite a bit of air defense. And on the left side, Race now breaking through. He has managed to sneak a small contingent of Goliaths into the western corner of the base. And, okay, here are those rapiers again, but he's got to be careful because if those copperheads get in range, they will eat through this. But for whatever reason, EXE has not brought his copperheads. He will bring some vamps, though. And here we have an air battle. Vamps versus vamps. Race taking air control. EXE now bringing up those copperheads that he should have probably had in his army earlier, because these Reapers have been allowed to absolutely molest this force of EXE's almost unhindered. And in the top left now, this army of Goliaths has continued to press up further into EXE's base. EXE will bring his own Reapers to stop that, but Race is prepared with a small squadron, a small fleet of Vamps, which are quite effective at taking out these Rapiers. And wow, very effective push by Race. He has just kind of mowed through everything on this western side, taking out all of the economy, all of the metal extractors, taking out geos, taking out defenses, and yeah, really EXE having a hard time stopping this. He's bringing rapiers, but Race parrying very, very effectively with these vamps, and a very, very well coordinated attack, I would say, by Race. Just look at the map. I mean, you can see that he has just cut a swath of destruction up the west side. Good God, what an effective push there. Great job by Race. Very heads-up play. He does also have a group of Dominators here. As I've said before, these are decent against Goliaths, but only if you micro them correctly. They need to stay out of range, or those Goliaths will chew them up. Yeah, he needs to stay a little further back here, I think, if he wants these Dominators to be at full effectiveness against these Goliaths. Okay. It does look like EXE finally on T3. I'm not sure how long he's had this, but he hasn't built much out of it yet. He does have this T3 construction vehicle and at least a behemoth. So he is finally on T3, and he is finally pumping out these behemoths. As I've said in previous casts, behemoths are essentially just an upgraded Goliath. Take everything I said about how scary Goliaths are and multiply it by several orders of magnitude, and that is the behemoth. They are quite a formidable force to deal with. Especially if you get them in number, but you know, Race doing a very good job here of defending this little choke point. He's got a couple immolators. Immolators extremely effective at these kind of close range engagements where they can quite literally melt their opponents down with these medium range flamethrowers. And of course, he has an effective squadron of Dominators in the back to pump out this direct damage with these forward-firing rockets. He's also bringing in some pyros here, but yeah, I don't know how effective pyros are going to be against behemoths. Either way, though, here we go. Let's slow it down. EXE is attempting to establish air dominance here with a group of what looks to be about 25 Hawks. Excuse me, Vamps, which is the air superiority fighter. These are designed specifically to get control of the air battle, to give yourself air dominance. And he is attempting to do just that. We'll have to see what his opponent is doing. Race also on T3 now. He is pumping out his own behemoths and attempting to bring them to the front line to try to hold off this the slow-moving raiding force of EXE, which is, as I said, slowly but surely making its way into Race's base. And he does here have a Revenant. The Revenant is the T3 version, essentially, of a Raider. It, I think, is cloaked, it's fast, and it is specifically designed to get past your opponent's defenses or mobile force and just kind of chew through all of their economy with near impunity. But as you can see, being T3, these Revenants are also pretty well armored. They don't die that easily, so Revenants are very, very scary. The ARM equivalent, which I think is the Mirage, we've seen those win games on their own. Pretty much on their own. I think it was the game between Lord Vader and Rampage. Rampage brought down a group of about 10 Mirages and absolutely got into the back line of Lord Vader's base and won the game so quickly that I couldn't even keep up with it. So yeah, these are scary. These T3 raiding vehicles can be quite scary if they can get into your opponent's core of their base, the foundation of their base, and take out all of their resources and production structures, or just snipe their commander. That's always an option. But good God, these Revenants do a ton of damage. Here on the west side of the map, EXE just kind of patrolling this army of Vamps. And here in the middle, it does look like this Revenant attempting to swing by these defenses and get into the heart of Race's base, but he will slowly be taken out by this army of Pyros. And overall, it does look as though EXE will be pushed back. It did take Race a while, but he was eventually successful. And in the meantime, it does look like EXE has rebuilt the entire left side of his base. He has rebuilt all these metal extractors. He has some rapiers here waiting in the back. He probably wants to get some air dominance first before he brings those in. It does look like EXE certainly has more Vamps, so he should be able to establish air dominance. But that all depends on how the air engagement goes. Certainly EXE has more, but if he flies into Race's base and, for example, runs into a flak cannon, that might even things out a little bit and allow Race to come out on top of the air superiority mission. So Race now going to mantle extractors, which are the T3 metal extraction platform. These are an Escalation exclusive unit. They are quite effective at providing metal. It does look like EXE going for another run by with these Revenants, but they will run into a wall of Behemoths and Pyros and most likely get nothing done at all. In the meantime, Race has built a Doomsday Machine, which is the core Omni Defense. That's what I'm calling it. It kind of has a amalgamation of red, green, and a single blue laser that will tear through anything and everything that walks into its quite considerable range. So, yeah, Race prepared to defend his base for the foreseeable future, I'd say. Let's see what the players are doing back at their base. EXE pumping out fusion reactors like it's going out of style. He looks to have almost 10, so that is quite an economy. And he's also building some mantle extractors of his own. He has upgraded the Behemoths here. In Escalation, there is a structure called the Upgrade Center, which will upgrade these Behemoths and your commander as well. It will turn your commander into a veritable beast of a two-legged monster that can quite easily tank a lot more damage than he could normally. Here we go. EXE finally bringing down his rapiers and hurricanes, but those will just get taken out almost instantly by these cobras, which is the T2 flak defense, and all of these vamps that were simply waiting for an opportunity just like that to show their stuff. But in any case, the upgrade center will upgrade your behemoths to have triple cannons and light laser attacks to kind of push away any swarmers that get close. And I don't think his opponent has built an upgrade center yet. He has built a mammoth, though. The mammoth is like the very heavy assault tank of core. They have these 2 suites of GATs, the powerful green lasers, and these should be very effective in battle with EXE's army, but he'll have to bring it to the front first. They are slow. It will take quite a while for him to get to the middle, but he will eventually get there. I'm trying to see what the players are doing here. I haven't seen any T2 nukes yet, or even a T3 nuke. Neither player deciding to go nukes this game, surprisingly. Nukes might be good in this situation. Here we go, this Doomsday Machine trying its best to push off these behemoths, but it will be taken down. And yeah, these triple barrel behemoths are quite scary. The upgraded behemoth having a tremendous DPS increase over its 2-barreled cousins. So yeah, EXE does take out that Doomsday Machine. It doesn't look like he's going to get much else done, though. Good defense by Race, and I would say that Doomsday Machine served its purpose of kind of holding off these upgraded behemoths long enough for Race to bring up his own army and push this attack away. But as I said before, neither player going into nukes, which is a little surprising to me, because nukes would be good in this situation. I don't see that either player has a single anti-nuke defense anywhere that I can see. They could have built one. It might just be that I don't see the anti-nuke defense, but from what I can tell, both players completely vulnerable to a nuclear attack. And but no, they will not. They will decide to go a different route. In the meantime, EXE building T3 Air. I have not seen T3 Air in a professional game yet, so I would love to see if EXE could complete this ultra aircraft hangar and do some disgusting harassment of his opponent's base or army. I'm not too choosy either way. I just want to see some T3 Air in action. That would be quite an awesome spectacle to watch, I'm sure. But at this point, both players just kind of massing up their forces, I think. This mammoth has finally arrived at the front, and we will have to see what it can get done. These mammoths are not cheap. 8,000 metal and over 3 million energy to build a single mammoth. We'll have to see what he can get done here. Does EXE have the ability to stop this push? He has finally finished a Pounder. Let me slow it down here. Pounder is a core unit that when turned on will send out these AoE shockwaves that kill absolutely anything and everything that come into their range. Unfortunately, they hurt your own units and buildings as well, so you kind of have to be careful about how and where you use them. But it does look like with the combination of these pounders, this pounder and this army of Goliaths and Behemoths, EXE will finally push back this mammoth. And I was looking a little scary there for a minute. I didn't know if EXE was going to be able to stop this. But he has, and in the meantime, Race bringing forward his army of rapiers. And yeah, here we go. EXE bringing down his vamps to stop this. Race going to parry with his own vamps, and in the middle we have an absolute brawl for air dominance in the skies. Here we go. Oh man, so beautiful to watch. Just an endless array of missiles being flung here, there, and everywhere. And in the end, most of the air force from both sides was taken out. All that's left is a single rapier and a small contingent here of vamps that managed to survive the absolute storm of missiles that occurred a few minutes ago. This pounder has now made it all the way to the edge of Race's base, and as I said, these relentless shockwaves will eat through anything and everything that they can reach. The pounders have an ungodly amount of health. Let's see, can I even tell how much health they have here? I can't, but it's some ungodly amount. They are slow, but they do take an unbelievable amount of punishment to kill. This Doomsday Machine will be putting out quite good damage with these relentless array of blue lasers. And here on the left side, EXE now pushing down with a relatively moderate force of Goliaths and Behemoths as well. So well played here, kind of distracting his opponent with this pounder, and in the meantime sending down a small force here on the left to see what it can do. But overall, with these two Doomsday Machines in place and these immolators, it does look like EXE will probably be pushed back. Just looking at the mega map, you can kind of see how this pounder just cutting a swath, a line of destruction down the east part of Race's base. Anywhere that it can touch, it will absolutely just crush through, annihilate, melt. Choose your term here. It's going to eat through everything. I don't think it can hit air though, so luckily these rapiers will be relatively safe, I think. But it has managed to clean up pretty much the rest of Race's army here on the east side. So yeah, these pounders extremely effective killing machines, and it will, I think, eventually be taken out. Oh, it does look like these rapiers are dying. They might be taking a little bit of damage with each shockwave, but certainly I would hope at least this pounder does finally get taken out. Keep an eye on it here. That is one beefy dude. My gosh. He has been slowly crawling down the east side of Race's base for a while. And EXE also bringing in some vamps to take out what's left of those rapiers. And this pounder is still alive. I mean, it's on a fraction of health. It feels like anything could just breathe on it and it would die. But wow, very impressive run there by that. And if Race does decide to reclaim it, it will give him about 6,500 metal. Quite a huge income boost there. In the meantime, it does look like this, let's see, where was that? Where was that ultra aircraft plant? Here we go. It's almost done. The ultra aircraft hangar almost finished. I am very excited about that. I hope he does finish it soon, because we do want to see some T3 air action. But oh my gosh, a second pounder now out of production and slowly moseying its way down, no doubt, into Race's base. We will have to see if the second one can get as much done as the first one did. Very entertaining to watch. I probably don't have to say this, but the Pounder is an Escalation exclusive T3 unit, and it is scary. Quite scary. The stuff of nightmares, the stuff that your bad dreams are made out of. These things, very hard to deal with, as we just witnessed. They just have way, way too much health. And anything that gets within within shouting distance will simply be melted by these relentless shockwaves that the Pounder will constantly put out. Let's see here. What Race is doing? He's built an Overlord, which is it's kind of like a it's like a mobile chainsaw, a mobile Big Bertha, I guess you could say. And this Pounder now slowly moving to the east of Race's base. He does have a Talos here, which will likely try to outrange this Pounder if it can stay out of range of these shockwaves. That would be good, but it is tough because these shockwaves have a huge radius, and you can see that anything that they touch will simply evaporate. So, yeah, very entertaining to watch. This Talos tanking these shockwaves like a champ. It does look like he will eventually kill it, so he did a great job of, certainly did a better job that time. He was a little more prepared, I think, than before to push that Pounder away. And, but as I say that, a third Pounder now coming out and slowly moving down the map. And in the meantime, where was... Here we go. Here's this Overlord. As I said, this is a mobile long-range plasma cannon, I believe. It has quite a few attached to it, and they will simply spin in a circle and send these extremely powerful long-range plasma shells across the map into EXE's base, and most likely deal an unbelievable amount of damage. So we will have to see how EXE responds to that. He is on T3 air, as I mentioned before, building a Vindicator, which is, for lack of a better description, it is just a flying battleship. That's all it is. It's a battleship on wings. That's probably the best way I can describe it. Yeah, here we can see that Overlord already doing insane damage to the Pounder from a huge distance. That's going to be a problem. And yeah, it's hard to even keep track of what all these players are building anymore because there is just so much going on at once. It did look like this Bastion that EXE built. It's a T3, essentially a T3 Guardian. It's like a long-range structural base defense. And, yep, Race finally ready to push up the left side of the map. This Overlord will be offering long-range fire support to absolutely chew through anything that gets within range of its cannons. This Pounder moving down the east side again, but I don't know how much it's going to get done this time. This Overlord will quite likely kill this Pounder without much trouble. Let me slow it down here because what I believe is about to happen is that EXE is going to bring down his T3 air. In the meantime, he's brought down all of his Hawks into the south of Race's base. Not sure why exactly. He really needed those to establish aerial dominance. If he can control the skies, it will allow his T3 air to essentially dominate the battlefield with impunity. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure where that T3 battleship even went, that air battleship. I'm not sure where it went. It's probably somewhere in his base. I don't think he brought it to the front yet. He's most likely building an air force to send at his opponent, a T3 air force, to send at his opponent at some point. But as for when, I don't know. Both players continuing to pump out T3. It does look like a race on 2 ultra vehicle plants here. And he also had an ultra K-bot lab too, somewhere. Somewhere he had. Oh, here's the ultra K-bot gantry. So, yeah. Race now pumping out T3 from 3 different labs. And this Overlord continuing to push every attack that EXE tries away with near impunity. This thing just has such a massive range that it's going to be difficult to deal with, I think. But in the meantime, these 2 bastions are going to pelt the map with massive AoE explosions. These will... Oh my god, look at all of this. EXE, you monster. Look at all 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 10 Doomsday Machines there, and these 2 bastions. As I said early at the beginning of this cast, the middle might just become no man's land because neither player really able to claim this. It has just become too much of a kind of trench warfare situation, or the middle is just the impassable barrier through which neither player can really traverse. I'm still looking for where that... still trying to figure out where EXE is hiding his T3 air. I do believe somewhere or other he has it, but he may be spending most of his resources... Where was it? On this Dictator. The Dictator is the T3 long-range plasma cannon. It will be able to hit this entire map, and it is basically a Big Bertha or an Intimidator times 10. Each shot is essentially a nuke, so it is it's kind of an uncounterable nuke. With every shot it fires, consuming a massive amount of energy, but causing an unfathomable amount of damage to your opponent's base. So, yeah, we will have to see if he can finish this Dictator in time. As I said, it does look like he's investing most of his resources into that. I'm trying not to miss anything here. I, again, don't think either player has gone on nukes yet. He does have a anti-nuke defense, though. So, even though nukes could be good in this particular scenario, both players opting to do something different. And yeah, this Overlord continuing to push out its damage. But once this Dictator is done, and it is finished, we will have to try to follow its shell. This is a game ender. That's what it's designed for. It's designed to end games. And so the longer this Dictator survives, it will, I think, slowly chew through Race's base. EXE saying, here we go. And here we go indeed. Oh my god. And you can already see how powerful this is. It just took out a huge cluster of Race's units in one volley. We'll have to keep an eye on this. But yeah, overall, like I said, this Dictator is a game ender. It will end the game unless Race does something about it. Here is, it does look like Race having a little air force here. We'll have to see what he wants to do with his T3 air. And in the meantime, Race may decide here that he needs to push up. He may decide that he needs to make a move, because if he just rests on his laurels while this long-range plasma cannon simply eats his base, as we can see, every shot doing an unbelievable chaos, just tearing apart his base as if it's nothing from halfway across the map. He does have a Krogoth here, and this is one of the most powerful T3 units in the game. Perhaps the most powerful T3 unit in direct combat. And this Krogoth could potentially make it into EXE's base and kill this Dictator, but I don't know whether the question is whether he can do it in time, because as I said, this Dictator, every time it fires, will be causing immense harm to Race's base. Here we go. Here's another volley from that Dictator. Oh my god. Disgusting. It's just... it's not right. Race now complaining. He's saying it's cheap. Here we go. Down the left side, it looks like EXE's sending a little scouting party. No doubt to see what his opponent is building. He's looking for some juicy targets for that Dictator to demolish, and most likely the Dictator will demolish anything and everything in its path from, like I said, the other side of the map. So yeah, I have to say, Race in a lot of trouble here. He needs to do something quick, because left unchecked, this Dictator will it will win the game. Here we go. Here's another shot. Another volley. Boom. Okay, this antimatter reactor does have a shield, but these fusion reactors don't, and those will go by the wayside quite efficiently. Race finally pushing forward again with his army of mammoths and a single Krogoth, an Overlord in the back. This is a scary army, I have to say, but that is a lot of Doomsday Machines, and also here on the left side we have those Bastions, though. He may be out of range of those Bastions. Here we have a Decimator. Very fun to watch. Let's slow it down even more. This Decimator just having a green laser to put down on the units beneath it and simply melt them from above, but it does look as though Race was ready for that, and so yeah, he will take care of EXE's T3 Air Force quite easily. But in the meantime, this force, this T3 force of Race's pushing through, it has already killed some Doomsday Machines, but can it kill all the Doomsday Machines? That's the question. I don't know. He does have in the back this Overlord continuing to fire, continuing to push out its DPS at a huge range, and take out these Doomsdays slowly but surely. But this Krogoth now getting down to about 1/5 health, and a massive air battle happening atop of this huge ground engagement of T3 units and Doomsday Machines. But I have to say, Race has almost pushed through here. He has nearly made it. let's say, into the production of EXE's base, and if he can get through, he might be able to win the game, but I don't know. It's going to be close, guys, because this dictator is still in the back, still slowly tearing apart Race's base with absolute impunity, not a single thing to stop it. And all Race can hope for is that he can get far enough into his opponent's base to either outright win the game or at the very least deal some permanent economic damage to his opponent. God, it's close, guys. It is so close here. The Overlord still in the back, still pushing out damage from a huge distance. And in the meantime, it does look like EXE rebuilding his T3 air fleet. And here we have a Decimator coming through. It's got that Independence Day style UFO laser. Just going to eat through anything beneath it. Very cool to watch. This is just a treat. You don't see this very often, but wow. EXE does manage to finally clean up the majority of that force. And it was, as I said, it was very close to getting into the meat of EXE's economy. That could have been quite devastating. But in the meantime, this dictator continuing to send its devastatingly powerful shells down the map. And oh, it looks like he's trying to get this antimatter reactor. It's close. Oh, one more hit and it will almost certainly explode and probably take out anything in the general area. Will likely be evaporated by that nuclear explosion when the antimatter reactors do go up in smoke. This Overlord still back here, though, still putting out damage. Let's see how many kills. 33 kills on this thing. Very effective choice by Race to build this earlier on. It has certainly, I think, paid for itself. But this Decimator will attempt to fly down here and maybe finally finish this Overlord off. It has been a nuisance. It has been a thorn in EXE's side for far too long. And can he finally take it out? Nope. He'll get it to about half health. But this combination of Doomsday Machines and Bastions should finish it off eventually. And here on the left side, a single behemoth slowly walking its way through, and this Overlord continuing to push up the east side of EXE's base, but another Decimator will come through here and most likely take this Overlord out. So the reign of the Overlord finally ending. But as you can see, Race did a decent job of pushing through EXE's base. He has taken out much of the southwestern corner of EXE's portion of the map. Here we go. This dictator now firing another volley of massively powerful shells. Each shell essentially the equivalent to a small nuke, and they will take out, at that point, not too much there, but he probably has no idea that this antimatter reactor is just one hit. One more shot would take this out, and that would undoubtedly be a massive blow to Race's economy. What do we got here? Now let's speed it back up to normal. I'm trying to keep an eye on everything that's going on. I don't want to miss anything, but okay, here we go. EXE sending down another scouting party to try and see what is in his opponent's base, to give his dictators some juicy targets. unfortunately, yeah, Race having so much air defense at this point that it's difficult to even get scouts through. Excuse me, it's difficult to get scouts through to even see what his opponent's doing, but here we go. That dictator firing again. Ooh. I didn't see exactly what it hit there, but it took out pretty much everything in this area. No problem. A group of pyros walking up the left, but as we said before here, the left corner of EXC's base is completely exposed here. There isn't much defense at all, just some lacerators. But these will just not be enough to handle T3. And EXC going to have to decide how he wants to stop this this push of Krogoth, Behemoth, and Pyros coming up the left side. He doesn't have much air defense here. EXC's T3 air should be able to handle that. Some decimators. But the truth is, if Race continues applying pressure up the left side here, EXC could eventually crumble. This dictator continuing to fire, continuing to kind of put a clock on his opponent. Let's see. Oh, finally taking out that antimatter structure, the antimatter fusion. And yeah, I really thought it would do more damage, but either way, that has to be a huge blow to Race's economy. And Race firing some of his own artillery into the heart of EXC's base. I'm trying to figure out what's firing those. Here we go. He's got a upgraded intimidator here. He's got a buzzsaw. So this buzzsaw, it doesn't have as much of a range as the dictator. In fact, it probably can't hit the majority of EXC's base. But it's trying to get done what it can. And finally here on the west side, this group of Krogoths and Pyros are going to push through. As I said before, EXC doesn't have much to stop this except T3 air. This T3 air can do it, but so the question is, does Race have anything to stop EXC's T3 air from picking apart this army? I don't know. It doesn't look like it. It looks like this T3 air will slowly take out this raiding force, but in the meantime, I believe this buzzsaw did take out 2 antimatter reactors. So very effective. I don't know what is this buzzsaw's range. Let's see if we can figure it out. Okay, the buzzsaw can reach here. So it can't reach all the way into his opponent's base, but it can reach the front, and it does look like it was able to take out these 2 antimatter reactors. So overall, very effective buzzsaw placement there. And EXC looking to kind of slowly have his base collapse by these relentless T3 attacks, Overlords and Krogoths and such. But here we have Harpies. This is the T3 gunship. They are quite effective, and they should eat through this Krogoth in no time. Unless Race does bring up something to counter them. He does have a Thrasher here. This is the T3 anti-air missile truck. He has 2 of them. So those will push off those Harpies. And in the meantime, bringing up a second Krogoth into the in addition to the one he already has. This dictator still there, still firing, but the truth is EXC is going to have a lot less energy now that those 2 antimatter reactors were taken out. And EXC targeting down this Overlord. Can he kill it in time? It's low. It's very low, but no, not quite. that Overlord will survive, and in the meantime, these two Krogoths will walk to the east into this impressive structure of Doomsday Machines and Bastions. These have been here for quite a long time, and they may be able to single-handedly take out these two Krogoths. And in the meantime, these Harpies coming back down to take out these Thrashers if they can, and push back Race's force. But as we can see, the whole southwestern part of EXE's base has now been demolished. He is he's struggling to get, I think, his economy back online. But overall, still in the game, even though he has less surface area, he does look to have more metal. He is ahead on economy somehow. And what has this Dictator been doing? Has it been firing? I haven't really been watching too close. Yeah, this Dictator hasn't been... I don't know if it's been firing, but certainly he needs to keep this thing firing all throughout the match. Here we go. Let's see what he gets done here. Oh, beautiful. That was a beautiful attack. It was hard to tell what it took out there, but at the very least, a mantle extractor, if not more. Yeah, Race complaining that what he's doing is super cheap. But you know, I don't know, Race. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, if it weren't for game-ending structures like the Dictator, you know, would the game ever actually end? I mean, how would you how would games like this ever stop? I mean, as fun as it is to watch and cast, I feel like you have to have units like the Dictator that can present a win condition. You know, allow a player to slowly but surely gain an edge over their opponent. You know, win a war of attrition, however you want to put it. I think structures like the Dictator, which are massive, long-range mini nukes that can't really be countered, are very important for total annihilation. And yeah, he will take out not much in that shot, but very close to hitting the vehicle plant. Either way, regardless of the fairness of something like the Dictator, I'm not going to complain because it is very fun to watch. And if it can produce some salt in the meantime, all the better, I would say. So, yeah, at this point, both players continuing to try to find a way to defeat their opponents, I would say. This is kind of a bit of a stalemate position. We still have this Intimidator firing its relentless shells up into EXE's base. And we still have this Dictator slowly but surely tearing apart Race's base. Here we go. It looks like it's about to fire again. Let's see what it can do. Here we go. Oh. Okay, mostly just took out a mantle extractor there. Almost got the fortitude. As I've said before, I'm very surprised that neither player is building a nuke. I mean, a nuke could just outright win the game. All they would have to do is take out their opponent's anti-nuke defense, and they might just win the game with a single well-placed nuclear missile. That could spell the end. And especially, I think, for EXE here, his Dictator could take out any kind of nuke defense, any kind of protector, and then allow him free reign to nuke his opponent's base with near impunity. But yeah, you can kind of tell here, both players probably getting mentally exhausted. This game has gone on now for hour and 40 minutes. Wow, big explosion, guys. I don't know what happened here. Probably what happened was that the Dictator took out some large structure in this area. But at this point, that is to be expected. And in the meantime, EXE has built a buzzsaw on the western portion of his base to cause even more harassment, to slowly melt down his opponent's base from a massive range. Let's see what the range is on this thing. Yeah, you can kind of see here, it can hit at least the northern part of his opponent's base. And EXE sending some more scouts through. He wants to see what his opponent's up to. But as I said before, Race has a veritable fortress of anti-air defense. It is going to be hard to even see what he's doing. Here we go. Another attack by that dictator. And Race's buzzsaw continuing to harass his opponent's base. But overall, both players still kind of in a stalemate situation. We will have to see how they want to handle this. Yeah, EXE now building a lot of Harpies. Harpies, the T3 core gunship. They could get something done, but with this much air defense, I don't even know if Harpies are going to be able to break through. Finally, Race now pushing into his opponent's side of the map with 3 Krogoths, some Thrashers in the background, and some Pyros as well. So, yeah, I may not be the greatest at math, but 3 Krogoths to 1. I think anybody can perform that equation. These Krogoths should quite easily be able to dominate this land battle here. But once these Harpies come in, they may have something else to say about this. This army of Harpies at this point should be able to push this back, I would think. But if he's going to bring him, he needs to bring him soon, because these Krogoths are scary, and the longer that he allows them to walk into his base, the more damage they will do. Yeah, let's see what's going on the left side. Nothing there, just these 3 Krogoths walking into EXE's base and just killing every structure within a 40-mile radius around them. Will simply be deleted. EXE finally bringing these Harpies down. Oh my god, he's got so many. How many Harpies is this? It's got to be at least 50, right? I don't know how many it is, but good lord, look at its health. Just melting. Here we go. Let's do it. Look at its health. Here's the health bar. Melting it down. He will back off. And in the meantime, yeah, that was pushed away by this combination of Krogoths and Harpies. He will eventually take out this raiding force. But the problem is, both players still unable to finish one another off. Both players still unable to ultimately win the game. Even this single dictator doesn't seem to be enough. It doesn't seem to be putting out enough damage on its own to finish Race off. So here we have another scouting force. I'm kind of curious what Race is going to do to win the game. What is his plan? Let's see here. EXE still continuing to build T3 air. And also sending endless army of air scouts into his opponent's base. That's where all the firing is that you see. The southern portion of EXE's base has essentially been deleted now. It's no longer on the map, so certainly Race has more of the map, and at this point has pulled ahead in terms of economy, I think. But how are the players going to win? That's the question. What is the end game here? Ah, this might be the end game. Oh, well, Race was going into T4. He had started a T4 factory, but that dictator had something to say about it, and that T4 factory now gone. So Race did have a plan for ending the game, but that plan has now gone up in smoke. Let's see if he rebuilds it. He may decide to try again, try rebuilding. Oh, here comes another attack here. That dictator slowly but surely picking apart Race's base. But again, Race needs a he needs an end game. He needs to figure out something. Building his own dictator here in the bottom left. That could help, but it is just started. It is very far away from being done. And this Krogoth moving through the middle is basically one hit. It's not... yeah, it does finally die. And both players just kind of building their base here. Just glorified Sim City. Very tough to end the game in this situation. I would say nuke would be good. A nuke would be very good in this situation. Or perhaps another dictator, a second dictator, could certainly double the amount of long-range damage he's doing to his opponent. EXE's Buzzsaw continuing to push back any kind of advance that Race makes into no man's land. That will make it very difficult to even pass through the middle with all of with this Buzzsaw and these mini intimidators. 3 Buzzsaws, working on a 4th. Pushing through that will be ungodly difficult, I would say. And again, both players just kind of struggling here to come up with a winning strategy. EXE does have a Krogoth here. At the bottom left of his little island. He might bring it down, but a single Krogoth probably not going to do too much against all of these defenses. Race continuing to work on that dictator of his own. But this is a crazy game, guys. It's just not ending. I think both players struggling to figure out a way to finish off their opponents. I certainly thought this dictator would kind of win on its own, but the problem is that EXE doesn't have a real way to find targets, because Race has so much air defense. EXE cannot see what is in his opponent's base. It makes it difficult for him to pick appropriate targets for this dictator, and so it just hasn't been able to do much. If you could get units into the southern part of his opponent's base and see what he has, it would be much more effective. But as it stands, this dictator just kind of shooting at mostly insignificant things like defenses and pulverizers and eviscerators and other things that at this point just aren't really going to win the game if destroyed. Here we go, arbitrators. I'm surprised it's taken us this long to see arbitrators. These are essentially long-range mobile tactical nukes. There we go. That was an arbitrator shot. Let's try to keep an eye on what's going on here. Oh, these arbitrator shots are nasty. Those huge explosions you're seeing, those are arbitrator missiles landing on their targets. And this Krogoth is going to be the victim of 3 or 4 buzzsaws and a small army of intimidators. I can't see it getting very far. Here on the right side, we've got a little spider army, an army of widows and arbitrators. He could potentially shoot over this mountain and hit all of this. We'll have to see if that's what he wants to do. EXE with a very successful push down the middle. Oh, there that arbitrator shot landed right here, as I predicted, and took out quite a bit of the defenses there. Another shot landing. And could this be the game? Could EXE have finally done it? This army of Krogoths, widows, and arbitrators pushing down the middle, slowly taking out everything in their path, with more arbitrators in the back. And I believe he still has an air army too, so once he breaks through his opponent's defenses, takes out most of these lacerators and pulverizers, he may be able to bring his T3 fleet into this battle and possibly win the game like that. But no, Race will give up before that happens. What a crazy game, guys. I honestly didn't know who was going to win. It just kind of kept going on forever. It just seemed like neither player had much of a plan to actually finish the game. And it was super close, but EXE finally bringing down an army of Krogoths and arbitrators to finish the job. And I think, as I said in the background, he had a whole T3 Air Force to act as the cavalry once he took out all those defenses. So EXE certainly going to win, and seemed that a race did a tap out before that could happen, which is a little unfortunate. But either way, the game went on for a long time, and very fun to watch. A lot of salt, I think. But overall, awesome game. Very entertaining spectacle of the T3. We almost saw T4 technology. Race started it, but yeah, the dictator had something to say about that. And awesome game, guys. Very well played. And yeah, so I will be I'm going to be casting the grand finals between Harold and Dirty Harry tomorrow with Postal. I think I will be co-casting it with Postal, so I will hopefully have that game up tomorrow night sometime, and I'm very excited to bring that to you guys. But in the meantime, if you got this far, thank you for watching, and until the next cast.